This Hangout on Air is live, apparently. Has it done the Twitterization?
Twitterization?
Please don't say fuck or bugger.
We're marked as explicit. It's fine.
Please say fuck or bugger.
Please don't say the C word too often, or write it down.
And hold it up to camera.
Yes. I read the description of why Hot Fuzz has a 15 rating a little while ago. When I was looking at whether children can watch it, and there's on one of the websites that talks about whether your children can watch stuff. There's part of the reasoning for the 15 is because the C word is in the film at least twice. Once said as a flippant remark, but then once is written on the swear jar. But because it's written down C word would normally be an 18 immediately. But because it's written down and marked as a bad word and therefore punishable, it's like, oh no, 15. Which is interesting logic.
There's a wonderful story from someone I know who had to deal with the BBFC sort of fairly regularly. And basically, he put something in for certification, and it came back as like way higher than he thought that it should have been. And he got a call from this really sort of posh and polite sounding woman as part of this explanation. And she said, yes, well, at this point, you can have one fuck or two buggers. But if you want to cunt, that's right out.
Yes.
Apparently, he had to put her on hold so he could have a good 3 or 4 minutes just of laughing as a result.
So she can get...
If you watch Once Upon a Deadpool, he says that at the beginning because he's bleeping himself out. But he says, "Well, we could have 2 shits, we could have 2 fucks, and that's it." With the 15, so you're not having any. He's talking to Fred Savage going, "You can't have any more of those."
Is there the same?
I've not seen that version.
Yeah, I've watched it with the children. It's quite fun.
Is there a similar sort of thing with regards to violent scenes as well? Do they have to have a?
More to do with blood and violence and how it's cut and how much of it you see. So you can have it. It's amazing. If you watch that recut, you think it's the same. You watch it again, you go, oh, all the blade inserts, or the gunshots, or the reactions, or the man on fire are all gone.
Whether things have consequences as well is usually
that's
a big
the thing.
one.
Yeah, and blood.
Yeah,
there will be blood.
Don't I know it?
Yay!
I'm pressing buttons and I'm hoping things are going to happen, but I really wish there was a night mode for some websites.
Night mode?
Yeah.
Like car stereo?
What? Oh,
I'm not joking. Your car stereo not have a night mode?
No.
Mine does. Everything's dimmer.
Benj, what have you just done to your microphone?
Turned it on.
Yeah, because you're broadcasting a decent amount of static.
Or hum.
Well, yeah, hum.
Well, I do this.
Seems to be okay now.
And then I turn it back on.
Can you mute it and let's see if it's any better?
Keep it muted, like next 90 minutes or so.
Right, that's it. I'm off. See you later.
See, I was thinking, you say he's not. I don't think he's muted yet. We have to wait.
I can be mostly muted for this cast entirely. It's fine.
You usually are. You
would we know the difference?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Right, let's bring up the YouTube chat because there's a Byron in there.
At least.
There's a Byron.
He said he was going.
There's a Byron in the water. Sharks in the water.
Yeah. Okay. So, do you know enough about Infernals to kind of have a good chat about them, Kurt? And then
I've watched the thingy. All I know is I watched it twice.
Oh, cool.
The entirety of the hour-long. Doesn't talk about the models at all. Just talks about the rules.
No, it's just set up. Right. Okay. Fair enough.
There's been a few other bits.
Okay. Hello and welcome to Elite Cadre, the Hordes of War Machine podcast that doesn't take itself too seriously. We hope. I'm Mike.
That was said very earnestly. I'm Kurt.
And Benj.
Nice.
You still dying there in the background, Benj?
A little bit.
Okay, fair enough.
We apologise in advance for the death of Benj.
What you're going to call that?
No, you sound like you are by yourself.
Yeah, I'm getting better.
We'll just let nature take its course. We'll let nature take its course.
Well said. You started off so well.
If we're going to talk about Infernals, do we need the Monsternomicon?
Not particularly, being as the Monsternomicon basically has no bearing on the modern game, other than like, here's a thing. It'll be vaguely sort of maybe-ish like this.
Isn't that what to do with Cthulhu anyway?
Yeah.
Well, I thought you wanted to, like, I mean, when you let Kurt ramble on about the Crucible Guard, he was talking about Lael and all that jazz.
Crucible Guard, Crucible Guard, Crucible Guard.
Well, the Crucible Guard have kind of been hinted at in actual sort of War Machine, sort of post-Monsternomicon days. If you talk about the original Monsternomicon rather than the much later. This is confusing already.
What year is
Just
it?
say no. Just say no, then.
But there is, I think, one of the Infernals that we're seeing in the new faction that is descended from
Is that
the
Dark
art.
Legacy? Is that one Infernal Dark Legacy?
I don't know.
It's a joke. Moving on.
I know.
I thought you'd know the references. I know you know the reference, but there is a reference within Infernals to Dark Legacy as well.
Yeah, I do know that one.
Okay, moving on.
Help my brain. So yes, this last week has been interesting with the what are they called now? It's not Primecast. It was the Dev Insider, was it?
Dev Chat. The Dev Chat
was
on the Privateer Press Twitch and YouTube.
So we had a dev chat from Privateer Press, which was going through not the models for the new faction Infernals, but some of their basic rules. And they have some interesting differences. Basically, a third system within War Machine and Hordes, I think is the best way to put it.
It's as different to War Machine and Hordes as Hordes and War Machine are from each other, but as similar as well.
Yeah. So you've still got that good backing of resource management, which is really the core of the game. You've still got that backing of lose your lead figure, the game is over, but it works in a subtly different way. Yeah,
you've still got boosting and you've still got power attacks and cool concepts.
I mean, the big sort of out the gate change is that we lose sort of focus and fury, and we have now, is it essence instead?
Yes, essence.
Yeah, they have a pool of essence that they can use to summon things.
So it works a lot like focus. It's allocated like focus, but it's not replenished like focus. But they can. Imagine like summoning is like an all master. So because the warlocks are warcasters. I think they're called masters. That's
Infernal Master.
Something like that, isn't it? That sounds like I'm talking about.
Can summon an infernal horror.
Malifaux is where I was going.
No, you're right. It's the. I'm looking at the summoning page that they have on the CID thing.
So it's like a spell, and they have to pay the essence the value of the essence for that. What they're called? They're not called ball beasts. They're not called beasts. They're called something else, aren't they? What are they called?
Horrors. Summoned horror.
Yes, they can do that. Yes.
Can enters play with only a single essence on them. Summoned horror can act normally on the turn that it is summoned.
But a horror that's part of the army list starts with full essence on it at the start, and it doesn't expire at the end of the turn. But they must pay an essence to stay at the end of the turn. They must pay in order to stay on the board, like an upkeep.
So if they summon a horror, is that an additional unit above the points costing? So I've got a 75-point army full of horrors already. I can have another one.
Yep. Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
You can have another one per turn if you want to, but that's obviously if you've only got like seven essence master and it costs 4 or 3 to summon, you could do one, and you can only do one a turn. You could add one a turn, but you won't be able to fuel the others or stop them disappearing so easily.
One of the big key things as well is that the summoning ignores any theme force restrictions.
Yes.
So you're just getting more free stuff, apparently.
Oh, so it says at the end of your turn, each horror must pay the tithe itself from the essence that it has in their own pool. So They've got 4, so they're only on the board for 4 turns.
Well, no, because they'll use those to boost and charge and.
Yeah.
Oh, so they'll bounce in and out.
Unless you fuel them, unless you give them more.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the big thing is they come in with their full stack, sort of right at the gate, and until they've taken at least some damage, they can run and charge for free.
Yep. They've got like kind of a damaged web, so they're kind of they're circles, but obviously we call the hordes ones circles or spirals. So yeah, it's a web. So there's an outer circle, a middle circle, and an inner circle. The way they described it, I haven't shown it, but they've described it. The outer circle. Once you lose the outer circle, you can't charge and run for free. When you lose the middle, all of the middle circle, you lose a dice of on attack rolls.
So, Infernal Masters and Essence. To transfer damage to horrors, they can spend essence. To spend essence to summon there, and replenish their essence by sacrificing a friendly model with a marked soul.
They can, yes. So there are these. They've been described as a bit like pain givers or choir. So they're kind of buffing kind of solos and units that have this ability, and they're like cultists, if you like. They are kind of the worshippers of the Infernals, and they can sacrifice them in order to replenish their essence. But they get replenished for free, just automatically. So it works a lot like Focus, and they can transfer damage like Hordes. They have a bit of everything. They're a bit of a mixture of. Well, bless you.
Sorry.
So yeah, so they're potentially losing models each turn as they're sacrificing in order to replenish. There's other ways they can replenish where they can collect souls as well, so they might not have to sacrifice it to collect enough souls.
Yeah, it's been really interesting looking at kind of what they're planning to do with the faction sort of mechanically, because the whole idea of like having a master who's there kind of near the end of the game, just going, well, I've got enough essence that I can bring something in to contest for a turn.
Yes,
let's see if I can turn it round. That's really interesting.
If they get summoned, they apparently have to start base to base with their master. So
I haven't read that or seen that. You read that somewhere?
Yeah, I've just read that with the summoning. To summon the infernal, place the summoned horror in base contact with the infernal master. So
it does mean they can contest or take his own late game by bringing in another horror.
I mean, they can activate, but it's not. I guess it depends on the placement of the infernal master. It's not instantly.
And if they activate and run, they're spending that essence, and therefore they can't stay on at the
end.
Well, no,
they're not, because they come in with full health, so they're running.
No, they come in with full health, but they only come in with one essence.
Yeah. So they're not spending essence to run.
Oh, so what you mean? Good point.
Yeah, they've got that one essence to hold.
So they've got one essence, so they'll stick around for that turn, be available the one after, and then die at the end of that if they're not fueled.
Yeah, fueled by something. So solos can give them essence like mechanics and things can power up warjacks. They have similar solos apparently. Not that we've seen any yet. So these are kind of, again, these cultist type solos that buff and enhance them. Humans and other races that work for the Infernals.
Infernalists.
Yes. Sold their soul for power.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, we'll just take that soul now. Thank you very much.
Yeah. No, it's a really interesting bit of combination work they've done there. I looked at them when they came around and thought, that doesn't seem like that seems more of a Hordesy faction, and they've pushed it a little bit that way, but
yeah.
Even actually looking back at the I've actually got the old Monsternomicon open. The actual beast design is actually quite similar to Infernal Discerning Beast that they have sketched here. It's that kind of alien looking massive dome.
There is actually a video on Privateer's YouTube with one of the lead sculptors, Doug Hamilton, who takes you through the design of
the heavy.
One of these heavies.
The heavy chassis with the 3 heavies that come from it.
Yeah. And it's like, it's a bit like a lobster, but it's a lobster with no eyes, and then it's got mouths that do this, and you're just thinking, you had far too much fun with this, didn't you, Doug? Come on, admit it.
He was enjoying himself, wasn't he?
Oh yeah. Apparently, he'd been saving up all his like specific requests to do models for the Infernals. He wanted to do those sort of big slavering beastie kind of things.
Yeah. So didn't really the previous kind of comments around this didn't do anything for me. I was kind of like, yeah, I've just bought Crystal Guard. I don't want anything to do with this. I'm not doing this. I'm very happy with Crystal Guard. I'm still getting a hang of them, to be perfectly honest. We'll come on to that later. And, thank you. Laughing a bit too much there. So I was like, no, but when those weird rules come out, I'm like, I quite like them. So my current thinking is, I'm assuming that the Army box comes out like July-ish, like it did last year for Crystal Guard. I might get the starter box because you usually get quite a good value on that, and that might be an interesting place to start just from but not jump into buying tons of stuff. But I think it was what they said on the dev chat was the summoning is a way to weaponize your collection.
Yeah,
that was the phrase he used. Hungerford used was because you can summon anything that you've got on the side of your table. So of horrors, so you can bring in whatever you need for the situation. So if you find you haven't got a ranged horror in your list because you couldn't have one for the theme or whatever they've got. I don't know how many themes they're going to have. I would assume 2 because they said it's a limited faction. That's what I'm not sure about.
I would presume it is.
I would presume it is, but I'm wondering if we're all presuming. But yeah,
yeah, true. I think just due to Privateer's business model at this point, it works better if they have limited factions and they go, there you go, there's your army box. There's a couple of extra bits and pieces to buy, but that's the core of your army. And they can just kind of cycle through those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so too.
Just for reference on what will probably be the release date. Lock and Load is June 21st to 23rd.
Oh.
And I'm guessing that it'll be a Lock and Load thing with a slightly later one for everyone else.
Yeah, that's what happened last year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And the year before, I believe, as well, with Grimkin.
So, although amusingly, the Lock and Load page on Privateer's website is just full of broken images. It's hilarious. Privateer.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, they will be coming out as well with the sort of the big refresh of Steamroller, which we're going to see this year as well. And
big refresh.
Okay, the refresh of Steam.
I know. I was only querying it because it sounded like you knew something.
No. More implying that while we might get like little bits of errata over the years with various packs, this is the annual kind of here's next year's pack.
Yeah.
Because if you look at them, they are actually all dated now as to when you'll get your next one.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Although the changes between the last two have been fairly minor, so I'm wondering if there's much they really need to change particularly, but I quite like the current Steamroller pack. I
can name one thing that I really hope they will just jettison out the window in CID and rethink, and that's objectives, because
we all forget them.
It's not even that. It's the fact that how many games do you see where people don't just pick stockpile?
That's the healing one, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you're facing something that you know is incorporeal and you want magic weapons.
Yeah.
Or you're stuck with a wood right in front of your objective and you want to use Pathfinder.
Yeah.
That's it.
99% of the time, you're just going, I'll have stockpile.
And then you forget to use it.
Because you know it's always going to be used. No. I've had several games where I've sat there and gone, you know what? I need to use the objective. That Warjack having a functional cortex would be rather nice about now. So
I find I forget it more than use it, but yes.
I mean, fair. Yeah, I mean, I have forgotten it a fair few times, but it's become increasingly important for me as time's gone on. But I would like them to revisit at least those objectives and make the other two more interesting. Sort of at least make it so that it's a choice rather than I'll just take that.
Or I don't know, rethink them as in make them all have a healing mechanic and then something else. I don't know. That's probably going too far.
Yeah, that might be a bit too far. But kind of just upping the benefits on the other two, just a little, so that you might occasionally think, oh, that could be useful.
Yeah, that's a fair comment.
We'll see though. It's always a thing.
When they were more complicated, they were harder to remember.
Oh well, for anyone who's kind of unaware of the origin of these things. Originally, you had like blank objectives that were just standard. What was it? Armor 20 and 20 boxes and go
Something
from
like
there.
that. Something like that.
Then they started differentiating them, so there were like 6 different kinds, but they all had different armor.
There was a whole page of them, wasn't there?
Like,
I couldn't cope with that. One
of them exploded, and they were all like the one scenario had one of them, but then 2 had a different one, and that was awful. Yes. So they went back and they refined it by saying they've all got the same armor, they've all got the same defense, they're all immobile, and just making sure they all worked kind of pretty much the same way. There were basic rules like you can't pray them. Yeah, because there was a point where you could pray some of them, but not others, and people got confused every single game. So you'd get to the end of a game and go, "Oh yeah, I couldn't have prayed that objective. How does this work?" But yeah, you had bonkers ones like back in the day with Guidons, if you remember that one.
No.
So Guidons, you had an objective and a zone, and if you controlled the objective, then you could place it within, I think it was either 3 or 5 inches of its current location.
My God.
To put the Guidon in the zone so that you could begin scoring.
I do remember that.
And that was the one that was so busted that Jamie P at what was that old start of the year convention, February?
Before SmogCon.
No, it was in the US. Lost Hemisphere talked about it a lot. It had whiskey tastings.
Can't quite grab it.
Yeah, you know what I mean, though. It's kind of a steampunky convention, from what I remember.
Rhode Island, yeah.
Yeah, he went there, played in what was one of the first outings of that pack, took, I think it was second turn on that scenario, because he thought the placement was better, then realised at the end of his first turn, I can't actually win on scenario. Because his opponent would always be scoring first and just win the game.
Wow.
Back when you could win by 1.
Yeah.
So that Steamroller packs were not always released in the form you would like them to be released. Let's put it that way.
No, I think they're coming a long way. I think we've seen small improvements over the last few years, and they've definitely gone the right direction for me.
Yeah. No, I think once they redesigned it for Mark III, I think it's been a pretty solid pack. I really like how generally interactive things feel at the moment.
I like the way this time last year everyone was thinking that Spread the Net would get dumped and because it was too wacky, and instead they kept Spread the Net, tweaked it slightly, and brought out Mirage instead, which is worse.
Oh God, Mirage! Why?
That's keep 6 solos in every list so that I could play Mirage.
Yeah, that's the one where I've genuinely sat there with a dwarf list and gone, I may have picked wrong here. I'm not sure I can get to that far flag to contest it.
I made that mistake actually playing Byron, where I didn't move fast enough across the table, or actually think about the fact I should be trying to contest the zone, the flag that was next to him. I was like, oh bums.
You can kind of give up 1 in the hope that you can kind of
provided you can hold the equivalent one, provided you can hold the equivalent one, provided you haven't got champions sat there contesting your one, of course, you can't kill because they're champions. Spread the damage around, yeah.
No, that's fair.
Is it though?
And they're trolls. You love trolls.
I do love trolls. I'm very conflicted when playing against trolls.
You're sat there going, "Oh, these are trolls. I love them," but they're beating my face in.
And they're the wrong colour.
They're not your new albino paint scheme.
Yeah, exactly. I do like my new albino paint scheme. I might even get it out at some point.
I thought you've only been painting guard.
I have, Benj.
This is a joke, Benj.
Oh.
We're doing a bit.
Oh.
New albino trolls. I was calling them new albino for far too long.
Yeah.
And some people started to...
So I think they've so far been the new albino trolls for 8 years.
I would guess something like that, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Excuse me, I must have been in a coma then.
My trolls weren't always white.
I've never seen your trolls like properly to acknowledge their paint scheme.
Okay. Yeah, Benj is a bit too much of a newcomer.
I've only ever seen you at a tournament once swigging alcohol, and that was about it.
That sounds about right.
And we all know which tournament that was, anyway. So
I don't know if I know.
I'll be honest, that doesn't narrow it down.
Was it in the north of the country?
No, it was in the middle of the country, and it was the big one.
That's still not narrowing it down.
That was trolls. That was white trolls.
I can't remember looking at it. As I said, I was just
running, Mike. That I did rather well on the first day. That's what I'm talking about.
I was just captivated by your.
I'm drunk and I'm winning.
Yeah, kind of attitude to it all.
I'm drunk and I'm winning.
And then I saw you playing to Kev Bryant on the second day and just went,
oh, God. I had you on one side of me and I had Phil Mannering on the other. And both of you going, after it did anything. Especially when I didn't think to shoot the shredder instead of Seren or whatever it was.
Hey, I wasn't that bad. I walked away once I was like, that caster's a bit far forward.
Yeah.
I was a bit hungover, I think.
Yeah, it's fair. As well, you were in a proper shark tank that day.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
top
what
8,
was it? 8 players. It's like Brett Wilkie and Kev Bryant, and I can't remember who else was in there.
Kev, if Kev's ever listening to this, Mike just called you a shark. I think you should take that for what it is.
Hey, he was a good player from what I remember. It's a long time ago before he switched to Guild Ball, but
true.
There we go. I feel we've somewhat wandered away from
nostalgia trip there. We apologise for the
Hovis music playing in the background again,
with the Dorset countryside in the background.
So, is there anything more we kind of have on Infernal stuff?
Just the general kind of concept. I quite like it. I read somewhere early on that the Infernal Masters will be the most obvious thing on the table, as in they will be huge. But I'm not quite sure. I think some of them are going to be huge base models and some of them are going to be large base or something like that. I'm not sure I know which round it is.
Well, I don't think that the guy that's notorious, the one that's pointing his finger going, I want you and your soul, that guy doesn't look like he is the actual. So, judging by the lore, or the very little that we actually do know, it's that those guys are the bargain dealers. They come up with the contracts, and then they call on Myrmidons or something. They're called Myrmidon, or is it Myrmidon or Myridan?
Are you talking about elf warjacks, or are you talking about giant things?
No, let me just find.
Or some kind of weird squid. I'm sure that's in something else.
No, 1 second.
Or Nullifitep or something weird like that.
No, I was just looking at it. Where are we?
It's great radio. Meanwhile, here is some music.
Someone's actually done a nice job on screen capped all the dev chat slides.
Myrmidon Infernal was what it used to. They used to call upon the powers of Myrmidon Infernal to defend, basically.
I don't think they'll be using the word Myrmidon.
No, they probably won't. But that was so. Those guys, the curators, the ones carrying the giant scroll racks, and the writers of
those humans, do you think that are there? Acting on behalf of, do you think? Is that what you're saying?
No, they're the actual deal breakers. They're the ones that write the contracts, basically. Binds people to these debts. So they won't. I don't think they'll be necessarily the masters.
No, they'll be big things. The thing with the silhouette, or semi-silhouette, you think with the things with the chains and that looks a bit like a Cage Ranger, but a lot bigger and weird. I think that's one.
I think they'll be the actual enforcers on the battlefield, as it were, basically.
Yeah.
But that's just speculation based on this. And
no, it seems that way.
There's an awful lot of complete out-the-box speculation you can do so far, because literally all we have is a chunk of the mechanics that we're looking at dealing with.
It just doesn't... Yeah, everything that they... Even in this old D20 RPG book, everything that they used to summon was something else other than the people that actually did all the contractual nonsense of stealing people's souls. So the Umbral Warriors, which were actually models as well in that RPG.
Yeah, there's an IK RPG Umbral Warrior.
Yeah.
There is there are going to be sort of chaff troops units as well, which will be humans, which will have a variety of names, I expect, as well.
Yeah. There's I'd recommend at least reading some of. There's only 13 pages of the book of it, so
I've just looked up the Umbral Warrior sculpt and realised, oh wait, that's just Denegra.
It kind of is just Denegra.
It literally is just Denegra.
Well,
wow.
If you scroll down as well, beneath the Umbral Warrior in this book, it's fucking Gatsby. It's basically the Iron Lich. So they have like a book on Iron Liches, and a chapter on Iron Liches, and it's just him.
The picture is what became, yeah.
Yeah, and Iron Maiden, and that woman character that's coming out for Riot Quest in the art book, the Iron Maiden, is slightly beneath that as well. So
yeah, I knew her artwork's been around a long time.
Yeah, it's coming full circle. Back to the books, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Oh man, just looking at some of the old IK RPG models is
interesting.
There's some interesting stuff in there. And not just like his Royal Guard Coleman Striker or Leto and Venter.
Yeah.
But you've got like weird stuff like a totally off the wall version of a Paladin of Menoth in a really weird hat. It just looks bizarre. It looks like they've got some like little bits of the faction identity and then kind of not quite got the message. You can tell a lot of refinement has been done on how the factions have come together.
I think Mark II, I think even Mark I, it's still they still used a lot of what you're looking at to an extent. I think Mark II refined a lot of that and changed some of the things around. A lot of the background got changed for certain things, and
oh, absolutely. I mean, you can watch if you look at the art down the years, the huge changes that took place from Mark I to Mark II, and then Mark III has pretty much just solidified the change from Mark II.
Yeah.
I think it was the big change in style was Andrea Rodolfo.
Yes.
Which like they just turned to doing like half the pieces by him.
Yeah.
So it's
really nice stuff.
It's interesting and does like big, detailed, epic battle pictures and like, okay, this is what you wanted from that earlier stuff, but couldn't quite have.
Or Matt Wilson did at the time.
That's true. I mean, Matt Wilson's done some nice pieces. I do have
a lot. It's still done a lot of concept art. His
Yeah.
name still crops up on a surprising amount of the concept art. Still got his name on it, which is impressive. But the finished artworks, he doesn't do as many because they take a lot longer, don't they? It takes a lot more time.
Yeah. Well, Matt Wilson's art's got a lot better. He used to do Magic the Gathering card art as well. It's got a lot better. So
That's true of anyone's work, isn't it? I mean, no, don't think so.
Oh God! I'm sorry. I'm just looking through the Iron Kingdoms model, seeing what looked like to me like a Gorshade Zero, and it's called Lord Viros.
Wow.
So it's Lord Virus, Iosan Eldritch, and Sithis Servant, and
Wow.
it literally looks like Gorshade.
what the old book are you going through? Sorry.
I'm just going through the Iron Kingdoms model listings.
Oh, yeah.
So if you want to see it,
Kurt, you were saying like people's art getting better. There are some cases where people have gone so heavily to digital.
There's also where people's style have shifted, where it goes in the direction that you don't like aesthetically, but majority of people's work in general improves as you get older, as your experience improves. But yeah, people's style definitely shifts. I was actually, you made me think of Bisley and his early 2000 AD, which is amazing.
Oh.
And then you look at things like his Turtles work, which is still really, really like you could say it's really, really like effective, and the artwork's really good. But to my taste. The earlier 2000D and even the later stuff that he drew with that became coloured is just much more superior, even though it's older. But that's my taste rather than level of quality of art, if that makes sense. Quality of work.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a Seth Olcott Monster Hunter model under my desk, actually.
Is it a long-term item in the box of shame?
Well, the box of shame is kind of spilt into like piles of shame that are dotted around. The main box is somewhere hiding. Oh, there's the Cleric of Morrow. What's her name? I wanted that model as an alternate unit leader for.
Daenerys. Yeah.
Wanted that.
It doesn't quite. I mean, it sort of works for the precursors, but you'd need to find a shield.
Yeah,
and a reason to use precursors.
But you put I'd put the shield on her back.
Kurt, you know exactly the words that will hurt me.
And
I love precursors, but I'm not going to use them.
I have a fully painted unit of precursors.
Well, I would say so have I, but I think there's more weight when you say it.
Wait. I have 2 fully painted units.
Oh my god.
Precursor. So yeah, I definitely want to use those fuckers.
You painted 2 units of precursor. Even I didn't do that.
Yeah.
I've got 1 fully painted.
Fucking love precursors.
Yeah, I do as well.
And are they going to do anything with them? Are they chuffed?
No.
I can see round about the time when Infernals come out, them actually doing something, because there's meant to be some sort of Morrowan
anti.
Yeah, opposite side of the coin to this one. Not like full faction stuff.
Oh,
I'm willing to bet now that they won't be mercenaries, and I'll just get really annoyed. I'll sit there for ages going, Crucible Guard are coming, and then it's like, you may have 1 model. It's the Toro. Yay.
Sorry, I just muted myself, coughing heartily to that.
What would be very funny is if they took Crucible Guard, what's it nice? Precursor Knights, and they said they're no longer Signar, but they could be Crucible Guard for no apparent reason.
Or they took them away from mercenaries entirely.
Yeah.
And gave them to Signar?
I don't think they've ever long-term taken a unit away from someone completely. I mean, they might as well have taken Crucible Guard away, because I don't think there are any of the... Oh, no, they will be allowed in Signar theme forces, because theme forces other than mercs allow mercs.
They do.
Yeah. So other people can have, like, more choice of mercenaries in their forces than I can.
Wait, can Signar take some Crucible Guard?
No.
No, but they can take mercenaries, so they could take a unit of precursors.
Oh, sorry,
in most theme forces, there are. I think there are a couple of exceptions.
The all Jack ones tend to not allow.
Yeah,
or be less flexible, because so the Crucible Guard, for example, that I know well, Jack list, you can't take mercs, or rather you can only take Gorman and Hutchuk, who are Crucible Guard.
Yeah,
Partisan, obviously, but you can't take anything else.
Under penalty of death.
Absolutely right.
Well, I mean, to be fair, if you want to play the game any way you like and just pick models from everything and play in your garage, you're fully able to.
We don't have to play a theme, do you? But, you know.
No. But there are penalties for not playing theme.
Yeah, about 20-odd points.
Yeah.
Half an army.
Although I will say that where I was at the weekend, the penalties wouldn't have been that harsh if we could have played at a theme. But it was Champions, so we couldn't. But we'll get onto that one later.
How did you do? No.
Oh, are we moving on to it now then?
Might as
Is
well.
there anything less? I can't think of anything. I can't think of anything else that I know about Infernals apart from I'm slightly excited and looking forward to the.
You're just gonna go and spend money you don't have on toys that you want to paint.
Stop being accurate, Benj.
It will just. It's like I'm only
that kind of talk at all.
I'm only slightly interested. Oh, take my money and my time.
So it's what it has done is that I was really quite keen on a GC Occult army.
Oh, okay.
I'm a big GC Occult fan of old, and it's slightly taken the shine off of that and made me go, oh, weird monsters. That's quite nice.
So
quite nice.
It's just diverting where money would have gone, then, basically.
Well, I've just about talked myself out of doing GC Loco. I suppose what I've got is I've got 3 or 4 months to talk myself out of it as they bring out more teasy things and go, look at this, it looks shiny.
Fair enough.
I mean, the Crucible Guard was an army that I wanted even before they did it, so that was my excuse.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
We all have that stuff in War Machine somewhere, sort of lying at the back of the cupboard, going, "Well, if they release that." So
Hutchuck was in the bottom drawer of one of my cut things for ages, Stillland's Blister, until it started all coming out.
There is a Hutchuck on my desk, like right here. So
nice.
He doesn't get included in armies, primarily because I forget about him.
What, do you have him ambushing Never?
I did that yesterday.
Or there's the infamous. It's turn 5. I've got 4 minutes left. I'll bring on Hutchuck because I can. Whee!
Byron was sat next to the table I was playing yesterday, and no doubt will recall that I was him and Martin were laughing at Hutchuck, going, "What's this thing here for?" I said, "There should be ambushing," but I haven't.
Why don't you get a little placard thing to put next to him on the side of the table?
I've tried a variety of things.
Fucking play me.
That's like Carnage. That's like the Oxford Carnage joke, isn't it? Everybody writing Carnage in permanent marker on several cards. I remember to use it with Madre.
To be honest, at this point, what I would need by the table is a whiteboard that's magnetic with like all my units on and solos on there. So that not only could I write down reminders of what I need to do during the turn, I can rearrange the units in the order I need to activate to do stuff.
Oh, you could get what you could do is get it printed on a t-shirt for your opponent to wear. Kind of like
Hutchuck on a t-shirt.
What was that Netflix program which had the meme where it has and of the names of the characters? Stranger Things. You could get it in that style, and you could just list your, upkeep and Hutchuck,
deceleration and Hutchuck.
Yeah, just get that and get it in universal size, so maybe 2XL.
I could get a little neon light run off a couple of batteries that sits there. Just every so often it flashes to get attention, but it sits there with it permanently on.
Just get him a t-shirt. Just get your opponent a t-shirt. Say, can you wear this? And can you, at the start of my turn, can you stand as straight as possible so I can read the full text?
Could you stand on a chair so it's an eye line, please?
Yeah, there you go. You can prove that you're demonstrably tall to them.
Absolutely, because they need that.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on to events. Well, you wanted to. You said we should.
Yeah, it's just the way that you said events. That could be like current affairs,
Fair enough. So yesterday, both Kurt and I were out at various tournaments because Kurt, being closer to Wales, went, "Ooh, I'll go there," and I, being closer to Milton Keynes, went, "Ooh, I'll go there." So Milton Keynes was not only a Champions event, but a Champions event at, and we may need to hold back Benj here from just vomiting everywhere. It was a Champions event at 50 points.
Yeah.
Why is that so offensive?
It just doesn't. Never mind.
It's the old 35 points.
Yeah.
But with a bigger battle group, which gets weird very quickly.
It's just playing a handicapped list, essentially.
No, I didn't find that. So the lists I took a Gorton list because, again, champions got to pick stuff in theme.
Did you? Were you fully painted, Mike?
I was very close.
You've been churning it out.
The Gorton list was one model off fully painted, which is the Siege Crawler, which seriously screw 120mm base models. I hate them. I hate them with a passion. They can die in a fire.
Shouldn't they be easier to paint?
No.
Okay.
I need a friggin' roller for the paint on that thing. It's just hideous. And I think the Ashlyn list was I want to say 5 or maybe 6 models are fully painted.
Pretty good.
So it was close. I mean, the Storm Lances, I might find time to paint them somewhere before 2027. They've been on the table like 3 times ever because I had PG points. I was like, yeah, I'll buy some Storm Lances. Why not? And then every so often I remember I've got them and go, oh yeah. Then put them on the table, proceed to forget half their rules.
Yeah. How can you do that? I just moved on.
Yeah. So just to kind of go back to the list, I took Gorton in Hammer Strike, which what was it? There was a driller, a basher, some gun bunnies, hammer dwarves, battle engine, and the dwarf artillery, which is hilarious for reasons. And then the other list was Ashlyn with a Toro and Mangler, Stormblades, Storm Lances, Gorman. Was it Cross One and a Vanguard?
Oh,
yeah. It's all good. So I played Ashlyn twice. First game I ran into Iona. Oh boy, that was an education. Turns out even under my feet, I can't hit those Wolf Riders. That was insane. The fact it's like, okay, so the Wolf Riders are here. They're Def 15 with annoyance. By the way, they've got Surefoot on them. Oh, okay.
Yep.
That's unpleasant in every way imaginable.
She's got all the tools.
Yeah.
Surefoot in Trolls, you kind of go, all right, can't be knocked down. All right, you're a bit harder to hit, but you're pretty easy to hit anyway. Fine.
Oh, see, I've been putting it on trenches.
Yeah, but I mean, historically, that's what I was thinking about. We're most familiar with it and thinking, yeah, that's taking 12 to 14. 12, taking Def 12 to Def 14. Not the end of the world.
Yeah.
14 to 16.
Yeah, there's a difference.
There is.
So game 1 was against Iona and Warp Wolf 8 Ashlyn on, what was it, turn 4?
What did he have as a side dish?
Just about I think about 6 Stormblades on the way in.
Okay, wow.
Admittedly, this was against a player who forgot how tramples worked. He's done them so infrequently. Because he trampled in, missed all his attacks on the Stormblades that he was going through, and then proceeded to start getting knockdown markers for them. Like, no.
Whoa, wait, what?
It's like, first of all, you didn't hit. Secondly, even if you did, they're not knocked down. So let's carry on.
Rule. That's a very old rule.
It's just weird.
Is that one when they got knocked down, they got hit by a trample? Something like that?
I have no recollection at all. So yeah, first game was pretty brutal. It was like, oh, okay, this is not going to be a good day. Game 2 against Legion and played Ashlyn again.
Into what?
It was it Lilith, the ranged one?
Yeah.
The one who gives boosted ranged attacks boosted attack rolls as a feat.
There's 3 of those, but yeah, anyway, yeah. That's really
yes. Not the one on the sledge.
Right.
I think it was the battle. I think it was the battle box one because it was a plastic caster. Right. That one went very differently because he essentially put the wrong units in the wrong place. So he put his melee units really far back with the ranged units coming in first. And
okay.
It was awkward, and they had a lot of boxes and tough, but eventually I just managed to open enough of a slot for Ashlyn to charge straight through on his caster and go, so you're Def what? Okay. Yep, I've hit. And Weapon Master charging. You've got no beast to transfer to. Good game.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's literally Ashlyn, one hit, killed him. The worst moment for him was the point where Ashlyn was standing just completely out in the open, no Vanguard, one focus. And he goes, so the Vanguard was within 3 inches, which is semi-important. And he just goes, okay, what's your caster's def? 17. No, the base def. 17. No. the base def, no cover, no concealment, no buffs. Yeah, 17. What? Like, okay, this is going to be a bad time for you, my friend. Then he goes, okay, I'll boost to hit. I've only got like 2 fury left, but I'll boost to hit. It should be enough. If I get the damage in, I can parasiter. It'll be all golden. Like, okay, rolls to hit. Okay, shield guard on the Nomad. On the Vanguard.
Vanguard.
Like, I've messed this up, haven't I? Yeah. Sorry.
Oh my god. You bad man. Hope you were very sorry.
I kind of was from that.
No, he just sat there, stony faced, and just said, "What you gonna do?
What you got? What you got? Nothing.
You got nothing. Game over. GG. See you later."
To be fair, he did also try and send a heavy in on Ashlyn's feet turn.
So you showed him no remorse, really, did you?
It was. I mean, he did. He did manage to take down the.
You're like, it's not my fault. It's his. He beat me in the first game.
Yeah, it was interesting to watch. So that was a win for me. That the final game was against a circle player, and I will. So I felt bad after this one, because this ended with the circle player scoring 0 CPs and 0 army points.
You don't look like you ever feel sorry about any of your decisions that humble and humiliate people.
So grand total of damage at the end of that game, I'd lost 6 hammer dwarves and taken 1 point of damage on a heavy.
Yeah.
Oh, and 3 points of damage on Gorton.
I watched a player. I didn't see the game, but as I finished up at lunchtime, heard of a player who went 1-up on scenario and then probably lost 5-0.
What?
He didn't record it anywhere, and they both completely forgot until well after the game that he had scored a scenario point.
Oh.
So he lost so hard he forgot he scored a point.
Oops.
Pretty much.
That's depressing as well. So any of these stories actually, it's funny how you can turn a victory into a depressing story.
But yeah, I mean, this game, it was against Iona again. But you kind of got the Wolf Riders with the Tharn spear throwers. Was it a Pure Blood? A couple of light beasts, and it was the owl face scenario.
Yeah.
So the right hand zone, I'd kind of got all my jacks going in there. I'd got my siege crawler and my hammer dwarves going to the left hand zone, and the right hand zone just kind of put my opponent just put nothing into. Other than the Griffin to just go, yep, I'm completely out of threat range. It's all good. And that's when I measured the 16-inch range on the mortars that they landed inside. And kind of went, yeah, okay. 7s to hit. Let's have a crack. Oh, hit. And they go, okay, what's the power? I mean, it's just an AoE weapon. The power is 14, and it's brutal damage. So, dice damage. Oh, look. Oh, you've got some points left. That's fine. I'll send in a gun bunny and just hand cannon it to death. So that was the sorry tale of that Griffin. Then moves an Argus into the zone, which is within 8 inches of the Basher. At which point I just go, slam you for free, boost to hit, roll d6 for the distance, slam it straight out of control, so it can't even stand up next turn in the as a shake action.
Not a nice man, are you?
Yeah, you've only just figured that out, Kurt.
No, he's a fluffy player, isn't he?
No, this man's out for blood. That's why he turns up at 50-point champion for funsy tournaments.
This was also
dwarves.
This was also the turn
the locals about.
Yeah.
Where the circle player had moved their entire army up to the right of there was a house in the middle. So I moved up and popped Gorton's feet, clustered them all up next to the house, and then just got the siege crawler to lob AoEs on top of them.
Did you leave like an elite cadre business card saying,
I'm thinking of Rose, with a black rose, perhaps?
Yeah, I'll be talking about this humiliating, crushing.
Yeah, check it out.
All right, check it out. Tell your friends.
If you've got any.
I mean, I did go through before the game, like what everything did, because it was a player kind of.
Yeah, but in a weird accent.
He's not got. That guy's not got any friends anymore after Mike left him humiliated.
Actually, it was a woman I was playing against. So,
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. And we were being highly sexist there. Apologies.
Yeah, apologies. For
take it all back, except Mike, who clearly doesn't take any of it back.
Fine, whatever. I'm being painted as the villain here. That's fine.
I think you painted yourself as the villain.
Yeah, you painted that mustache on yourself.
I mean, that's kind of fair.
Stop trialing it.
But yeah, that game ended with 5-0 on scenario because I left them without enough to contest with. Which again, it was
destroyed her dreams.
Well, I mean, the only thing the driller did all game was walk forwards, reposition, and continually do that until it got to the objective, and then just one-rounded it.
So you trying to have some mitigation. The only thing the driller did was this. I don't think how that mitigates at all.
Yeah.
I mean, there may have been a point as well where the spray bunny went up and kind of went, I'll just line up like 5 of your things and boost on all of them. And yeah, that's the Wolf Rider solo, Nuala, couple of spear chuckers. Yeah, let's go for it. So, good times were had by some, by which I mean me.
Wow.
So I finished on 2-1.
As long as you take tissues for your opponent, that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd only feel the way you did if I'd have lost the second game as well. But you really wanted to ride that 2-1, didn't you? You know, feel the victory.
Look, I play every game with. I try to play every game with the same attitude, which is I'm here to have fun. I'm also here to try and win the game.
Okay.
Yeah, it's that's. What is it? It's.
I'm sure that's true of your opponents as well.
Yeah, I try and make sure everyone has a fun time at the game. You know, it's. Yeah, that's just the way things are.
Ooh.
It is a brutal game, in fairness. It's just the nature of a war machine, unfortunately.
Yeah. Especially those ones where it's like, turn 1, I move up, I've been assassinated, good game.
That doesn't happen often anymore.
It doesn't happen as often as it did, because they've continuously moved the deployment lines further and further back.
And nerfed the combination of things that enabled you to do that quite heavily.
Yeah.
Over time.
Yeah, there's
a lot less of...
Yeah,
turn 1 assassination is extremely difficult now. I'm not going to say there's none, but you have to be putting yourself well in harm's way for that to happen.
Well, they removed one of the most infamous ones for Mark III, which was the it was the zoo for minions, where you basically had a line of stuff that just threw one particular war beast continuously. Then it used Rise.
Well, that was a Mark I troll. The troll flying circus was. Originally came from a trolls thing where you'd have an earthborn or something throw a mauler, and then something else would throw it as well, and you'd end up with a mauler that would then just right next they throw it into your caster, with the second throw would throw it into your caster or third one, and then it would just stand up, cast rage, and beat you to death.
The Vlad 2 Draken Flying Circus was another one.
Yeah, because it couldn't get knocked down.
Yeah.
Couldn't be knocked down, had Flying Steel for D3+1 attacks.
Yeah.
And under Vlad 2, its stats went through the roof.
Yeah, that was a bit scary.
Yeah. Let's never go back to that. I love the Draken as a thing, just no. No, not ever.
I think that Legion, even at its height of obnoxiousness, was only top of turn 2. Probably it could kill you. But
I'm sure there's something. There are a few that if you have extra 2 inches of deployment, maybe if you both have 2 inches of deployment, and you're going first and you run at the enemy in a big way, you have to put your caster in real harm's way. Though I think now.
Yeah,
it's one of those things that, like, you can try it, but if you do, you're in such a vulnerable position. It's probably going to end you. Which I suppose is kind of the way with most assassinations. There's usually something that kind of blocks you from just going, let's try a balls to the wall assassination and see how it works.
You would try not to put your caster in that position. You use your caster as a support piece usually in those positions. But yes, that's yeah.
So okay, well, I mean that's my tournament at Milton Keynes. There is for those listening who want to go to a 50-point tournament, I think it is in May. It'll be available on Tiebreak. There's going to be a 50-point standard steamroller there. Barring other things, I hope to be there.
This is the same weekend as the Welsh.
No, probably shouldn't be, because was it Dave Bartley's going to the Welsh, and he runs the tournaments there.
Well, that should prevent that, then, shouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly. To be honest, I don't know that there's enough players left in the country to scrape together a tournament the same weekend as the Welsh, because they're aiming for 190 players.
They got 23 tickets left last time I looked.
Yeah, so if you do want to go to the Welsh Masters, I highly encourage you to do so.
It's a laugh.
It is an absolutely great tournament.
Also, every player is getting a free KR multi-case, the basic cardboard case.
I think that was before a certain date. So.
Oh yes. Oh, but it's still valid now.
Restrictions may apply.
Yeah.
So be sure to check what you're
getting.
By
a certain date, you're absolutely right. Like 1st of April or something like that, isn't it?
But yes, I would make sure. Of that one if we get your expectations of. However, the Welsh is still a great event. Always has been. It's kind of one of the biggest War Machine social events of the year.
And we'll all be there.
God, yes, we will. We can have the 3 surviving members of Elite Cadre in the same room.
Yeah.
Because Nick and Alex are dead to us.
I'll bring models if anybody actually wants a game.
Hang on, maybe I won't be so ill this time I can't play you.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, I can get my first ever game against Benj.
Oh, we should have a little round robin best of you and I versus gets to face Kurt drunk. Don't know.
What, everyone drunk or me drunk?
Just you drunk.
Just me drunk.
I was gonna say I can't get drunk at the Welsh because I have to drive places.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. When has the date changed?
No.
Or is it still? No. Okay, fine.
No.
Just because in May I was thinking of potentially going to that 50. When you mentioned that steamroller, that 50-pointer, I was thinking of that as well. I might go.
Yeah, it's a good laugh. Although the thing is, you do need to build your lists with it in mind. It's 50 points. You can either have all the support in the world and no business, or just like have a bit
less of everything.
Yeah,
I'm not adverse to running min units. It's fine.
I think if a lot of the men players look at it and go, "But I can only have min choir then."
Or one choir.
Yes. Well, no, you don't need more than one choir because you're only heavy as adjudicator.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't get 2 in, can you?
Yeah. Do people...
Oh, there's a bonus. Ben, there's a reason to play 50 points. You can't have double adjudicator.
That's a good enough thing. I have got 2 adjudicators. One's in a box though. God, that multi-part thing really. I can't even be bothered to even look at that right now. I pulled out the multi-part adjudicator.
The other jack as well.
The instructions are just so overly complicated. You know,
instructions.
Instructions.
It's a men-off model bench.
I know, but they I don't know. There's something about the whole airfix nature of it that makes it 10 times more fiddlier than it should be. I just want big chunks that I can stick together.
Play circle then. Have the magic monkey.
Oh,
which no one plays, by the way, but you know.
Wow, everyone's playing flying birds now, Doom. So
there's a lot of them around.
Flying electro birds, big birds of Doom. Are they quite common now? The giant bird, because at one point it was thought of to be absolute garbage, wasn't it?
Yeah, it went through CID, didn't it?
Oh yeah, I forgot.
-3 off range attacks against it, and all kinds of stuff. It got cheaper. It's
actually, Kurt, I'm just going to have to point something out now. you can actually have double judicator at 50 points.
You can't have anything else.
No, you've still got 13 points left
for Sevi Zero. And
well, actually, no. That's I picked the Warcaster with the highest amount of points, so that's with Fiora 1.
No. With you just need Sevi Zero. Oh, you need High Reclaimer and
I played into it with Sevi 2.
Sevi 2,
and that was quite interesting.
I think that should still be able to do it.
It's the ocular vision or whatever it's called. I will just not take that first damage.
Yeah.
Or I will choose which damage I take, or not, and ignore one damage. That's quite nice, and quite horrible.
Did it tilt you?
It did throw me, yeah.
Okay.
I tilted. I enjoyed that game, but I had some post tilt around that with playing Crucible Guard and playing a double judicator.
Oh, there we go. Severius 2, double judicator, Hierophant, a rack, and a min unit of choir. Jobs are good.
50 points. That's really nasty.
All right, I need to put together a judicator. See you later, guys.
Have you got 72? Stupid question.
And that's not even in theme.
Oh, sorry, I was just on the way to go get the judicator kit. Sorry, what did you say, Kurt?
Have you got 72?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
I'd say it's a stupid question. I assumed you did.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll go see where it is.
Mine's still in a plastic bag, I think, somewhere. Yes.
Oh, excellent. If you put it in Creator's Might, you can get another free card.
Yeah.
And have 4 points left over.
Surely if you put it in the right list, you get 2 free things, wouldn't you? 2 judicators?
Yeah, but this is 2 free cards.
Mm.
So yeah, 4 points left over to spend on something. Ooh.
It's so low, isn't it?
That's just nuts.
Yeah, that's quite intimidating at 50 points, isn't it?
Yes. That is quite unbelievable.
Because they don't need a hell of a lot of support.
No, because they've got the inbuilt. Is it inbuilt signs and portents on them?
Pretty much.
Yes, they have. It's the Reliloquy that got turned into something useful. When
it's
free,
the focus... isn't it? You don't have to pay to do it. It's just free. And with Sevi 2, getting that lose a free attack, you don't really mind. Because obviously you can stack double Sons of Portents with Sevi 0 or with the other Sevi, but...
Yeah. The Judicator's really turned on my Sevi 0 and having someone that can get a giant amount of focus, basically, to run it and still maintain spells in an army, so it's High Reclaimer usually.
Yeah.
Well, I can't find it. I think it's under the bed somewhere. Instead I found... what did I find?
Packet of Minstrels.
Champion of the Order of the Wall.
Oh.
I still haven't built yet.
Here we go. Create final list. So then you build Sevi 2, double judicator, Hierophant, 3 racks, Vassal Mechanic, a Vassal of Menoth, and a Min Choir.
I always like it when other people build my lists because I can't be bothered. This is great.
Wrong.
At 50 points. I don't think either of my lists could even remotely deal with that.
Well, I could even think about it is sit down and see if I can write a double Vulcan list to counter it.
Yeah, I would take double Galleon, but that thing is hideously expensive still.
Is the Galleon any better yet? Has it been through CID?
It's been through CID. It just got cheaper.
Oh, okay.
Which is kind of what it needed. It's a good colossal, but it's just way too expensive.
Did it get significantly cheaper, or just
like 4 points cheaper, I think?
Oh, okay.
So, but we're still waiting on that one because it'll be released when it's released.
Oh, is it not released finally?
Soon, I think.
Yeah, it's quote soon.
Okay.
So I mean, 50 points. See, you could run. Let's put this into irregulars because that's always just the worst thing to do.
Was it single list, Mike?
No, it was double list for us. Well,
was it double list, but you could actually just play one list?
Yeah, you could just bring one.
Yeah.
Could you bring one? You can play one, but if you bring two, you have to play two. That's how
No, I don't think they're that anal.
No, champions in the rule book. If you do bring two, you have to play it.
Oh, that's anal.
Yeah,
but don't bring it.
It's because it's a theme force.
I'm not going to.
I think you said you wanted to.
No, I'm just going to turn up with 2 adjudicators and piss on everyone's cornflakes. Put 50 points. No, I'm not that bad.
Yeah, you are. You know you are.
The
worst. I need some glue. Stronger glue than this.
Oh, there we go. Broadside's bar can fit a double galleon in at 50 points.
Are you planning on that then?
No.
That sounds like yes.
Although irregulars does get worse in the next iteration, so we'll see. But that is just stupid in the extreme. Although it does leave you like 6 points to do things with. Like, I guess I'll take a dwarf mortar, which actually takes me up to 3 free solos. So it's not all bad.
It ain't all bad.
So, I was going to say, should we move on to Kurt's tournament experience?
Yeah, I want to see how he left his victims.
So I skip to the end or leave in suspense?
No, we wanted. Didn't someone want dice by dice battle coverage?
Byron did imply that he would enjoy dice roll by dice roll report, and luckily I made a list of all my. Yeah, could you actually imagine me doing that? No. I took a photo of my result sheet, so I had some vague attempt at remembering what the hell happened.
What I did this day,
yeah,
just in case I black out.
Exactly. Just don't black out. You just sleep a couple of times. Life gets in the way, and you go, "Oh, Saturday, I think I went to Cardiff." Yeah,
you can show people at work. I think this is what I did.
I think this is what I did on Saturday. What's that? I don't know.
Blacked out. Woke up in Cardiff.
Yeah, but I can't read it.
Woke up in Cardiff. What was it? Stag do? No, it was moving miniatures around.
So I got drawn against Elliot in the first round, who's been playing a lot of minions lately, a lot of gators. So I was thinking, oh, gators. And I'd seen double adjudicators on a table, and then suddenly he picks it up and brings it towards me. I went, "Is that someone else's?" He went, "No, it's mine." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." and then we took out his list, and actually he just wants to play double adjudicators. So I was tempted to put double Vulcans down in a gate stick because that might be fun, but actually I went for my other list, which is Gerhardt and double Rocket Man, and yeah, there's a theme of my day. One thing I did realise at about 9 o'clock at night was when he put passage when you can't shoot at the jacks. That's what it's called, isn't it?
Yeah.
No magical ranged attacks, no non-magical ranged attacks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, I can't shoot it at all. Crucible Guard, by the way, Crucible Guard. So I have a Vulcan and a Liberator and double Rocket Man and the Stormtroopers and a few other bits. And yeah. So I'm there being cagey, and I did kill stuff and work around it, and eventually got in towards it. But what I realised later on was that Alice can, of course, give any single model ranged weapons magical damage, and there's tons of it all the way through all of Crucible Guard.
Sad times.
So yeah, so I actually should have just shot it a lot. Earlier on, even if it didn't die, it would have died later on when I charged it for sure, because it would have been half dead.
Now
spraying it.
Now, do you think your opponent knew this and was sat there going, "God, I hope he doesn't remember his own faction"?
He said, "Have you got any way of giving it magical weapons?"
Right,
as if he thought I did. And then when I said, "No, I don't think so," he didn't then react in a way where he thought, "Oh, what about her?" Because it's hard to see. It's hard to see Alice, to be honest, across the table.
So he knew.
He had an inkling that Crucible Guard could do that kind of thing, but I don't think he knew which model did it.
So he didn't like with certainty declare, "No, you can't shoot my shit." It was just
No,
like
he didn't
he did say, can any of your stuff shoot my shit? Okay.
It's a fair way to word it.
Yeah.
I think I mean, that was it started out fairly balanced because he was very focused on one side, and I thought I was pulling away on scenario, but then he very much closed the door on me. There's my, there it is. So I did score 5 control points in that game and still lost.
Don't.
Oh, I think I clocked. No, I clocked. It went down on clock. We were both low on clock. It was right at the end of the round. But yeah, I ran out of time. Yeah, so that's fine. And then I played. So that was against obviously against Menoth. Then I played into Primal Terrors with Valis. Is that his name? Valis? What's his the Legion people that hurt themselves, a bit like Scorn, and he's the warlock's based on them.
Oh,
brain's gone now. People are shouting it now, aren't they?
I mean, you've gone so far outside of what I actually know about Legion at this point.
Okay.
You could say anything, and I go,
yeah. He wasn't playing the giant, great, nasty thing. Didn't have that. The words are all going now. No words. It was lots and lots of warmongers and the dragony things, and as in the dragon ogre things that are not called that. The ogre cavalry.
Okay, yeah.
It isn't Fianna the Lash you're talking about, or
no, the guy with the sword, the guy that's
Callus.
No, he's like the incubi guy.
Yes, he creates lots of incubi, doesn't he? Yeah.
Oh, you talking
Callus
about
one?
I was going to say, or is it Callus 2, which is
no?
He said not the monster one.
Okay.
So
it's it's Callus 2. It's Callus 1. And on feet, it creates incubi when you kill anything.
Okay, yeah, that's Callus. I'm sorry, I've only just seen the model for Callus 2. Like, what is this?
I don't think I have seen it. Yeah,
it's a monster thing.
It's utterly ridiculous.
It is pretty daft.
I'm sorry.
It's not scary. It's just
I could not in any way seriously own that model.
I haven't looked.
I'm glad it's tickled Mike.
I'll paste it in chat. It's certainly a thing.
Yeah. So his feat is effectively trying to make you think twice about killing stuff because you create incubi every time you kill stuff. So I killed stuff. Because sitting there doing nothing. So I feated to try and kill things properly and try and kill as many of the cavalry as I could. Created lots of incubi, killed lots of incubi. We completely lost count of how many incubi got created and killed.
I mean, the thing is with Callus's feat is if you've got enough either firepower or melee to just kind of go in with, the feat's almost worthless.
I did kill a lot because I was spraying, so I was spraying through the cavalry and through the bird things and all this kind of stuff and killing them, and there were incubi, and then the second spray would go in and wipe out most of the incubi. I would say by the end of the feat, he'd still got 4 or 5 incubi that were sat there, even though I killed at least that many. It was it became an attrition thing, which that army excels at attrition. It just doesn't die easily at all.
Yeah. I've only ever played against it once, and that was in Mark II, and it was fucking oppressive then. But
I got completely closed out of the scenario, and he just once he started backing points up, I couldn't push back in again. Hoped well at the start, but no, just couldn't stand up to it. So lost in the scenario massively. And then the last game was against Will and his circles. So he had the giant lightning bird. He had a stalker, what feral, Getorix, not Getorix. What's the character?
Brenos?
No, I saw that floating around there. No, the character Wolf with the axe. It's Getorix.
Oh yeah, that is Getorix.
And with
words have failed Kurt entirely.
Jesus Christ!
That turns into a beast who's Tharn, but he's Words is gone. Been around ages as well.
I think we should just leave him to it, frankly.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Short
Do you mean
version
Chromac?
Yes, short version is. Yeah. Words. What are they for?
Well done, you've killed Ben.
I have.
You're over there, Bench?
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done.
So short version is I got wooden spoon for the day.
Wow, and you say I'm mean.
Yeah.
What? How does that mean?
Just Benj laughing at you.
Oh, see, mate.
I wasn't really laughing at him. It was with him, really.
I heard that. It was mostly at.
Okay. It was with his descent into madness.
Oh, okay.
And the loss of English words.
Utterly.
I'll believe you thousands wouldn't.
Okay. Ooh.
Yeah. Well, it was a fun day, and I forgot a ridiculous amount of rules through the day, most of which are firmly cemented in my head, which is good. So hopefully, yeah.
I mean, that is the one thing about going to sort of events like that. It really does expose where you've got holes in your knowledge, and you kind of you need to polish up on it for next time. Yeah. It's like I know if and when I put Storm Lances on the table again, I need to remember that they have Electroleap.
Wow, yeah.
Have you been playing regularly though, Kurt, recently? Or
I've been recording all my games this year. I played 17 games this year.
Okay. Yeah, this is why it just doesn't really make sense in my head, because I didn't expect you to go potato after that many.
But the thing is, Bench, there's a difference between like having a casual game and playing a tournament.
It's the fact that I never really see any game of War Machine really that casually. So
we are. I think all my games are going to start being clock games because that's the biggest difference. Is going from that, and we were playing 50-minute clocks. So
that's rough.
Yes, we were. So time was really against me, and I was struggling with it. And I've changed one of my Sylvester list is now double Vulcan. And that's much better and better on time. Less models, less going on. Still a lot of sprays, but there's still less. So you still got a lot of dice to roll and things still kill a lot of things, but it burns less clock than the big infantry Sylvester list that I was running. And I think it's just practice on clock as well, but practice the same lists because I keep tweaking, changing, and I think I need to get stuck into running the same list over and over because then you know what decision you want to make. You don't sit there going, "How does that interact with that?" in the middle of a time game.
It's it's one of the many reasons I ran McBain for so long because that 75-point list I had didn't change for about 18 months. And by the end of it, I knew exactly what each piece wanted to do, where it wanted to go, and how it was doing it. I didn't need to look at the rules or stats at any point, and it flowed.
It's just consistency, isn't it? It's just knowing what you're playing.
And how it interacts, and how, especially with the Crystal Guard. Yeah. Crystal Guard is about buffs and debuffs, so you have to know how these things fit together in order to get the best out of your armor. Because the basic stats of Crystal Guard are very dull across the board. But they are average, they are just dull, they are underwhelming. It's the UA abilities and buffs and debuffs and rust and taking armor and defense off everything that turns it around and changes it massively.
Can anyone explain to me why the War Machine General Facebook group has changed to Lord of the Feast?
So it was to do with someone basically saying that Lord of the Feast was massively overpowered. One of the admins changed it to Lord of the Feast General for a joke, and then found out you can't revert the name for a month.
It was commented on the dev chat as well.
Yeah. Oh, have you not seen Doug Hamilton's brilliant trolling of the group?
No.
Oh, he started just literally sculpting other Lord of the Feast things. So like putting Lord of the Feast horns on everything, and like a Lord of the Feast gun rack as well. And
Nice.
it was just really weird to watch him do. But like this doesn't seem like something that normally would be done, but okay. So
well, so is the model still broken, or is this just? No,
I think it's gone from Lord of the Feast. Go back to the very beginning of Mark 1. Lord of the Feast was ridiculously powerful in Mark 1.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot the bird across the table. He teleports to where the bird was. He then lays into things with a ridiculous number of attacks. Mark 2, he got squashed into oblivion. He was a pointless waste of time. He was too expensive. Start Mark 3, he was good but way too expensive. He went through CID, and he's almost back to where he was when Mark 1, I think, nearly.
Evidenced by, what is it, the Pagani widget?
The Pagani widget?
Yeah. So there is now a thing which is like, if you place Lord of the Feast somewhere, then there is a precise 3.2-inch bubble in which
everything dies.
Yes. So someone has made a widget that just says 3.2 inches or 1 Pagani.
Nice.
So
he does teleport to from the range that the bird attacked, doesn't he? Now, like he always used, like he did years and years ago.
So he teleports him with the bird. I might have to get the rules on this one, but I'm working
find it. I think it was a ranged. It always used to be a ranged attack, which is the bird flying at something to represent the bird flying at something.
Yeah, and then he teleports base to base with it. Then he gets the pseudo thresher off that. Then he can buy attacks with corpse tokens. Now, my opponent in the final game tried a sort of an assassination with Lord of the Feast after using the Spirit Cauldron and Boil Master to just like keep him topped up. So Lord of the Feast comes in like fully loaded up, standing next to Gorton, and it's like, okay, so that'll be.
It's got grievous wounds as well as what we've described. Everything we said looks right. Dual attack, so we can make the ranged attack and then pile in and make the melee attack after he's teleported.
He also gains bonuses for having corpses on him or souls.
So he can move 6, make a ranged 10 ranged attack at rat 7.
Yeah.
If he hits he can have corpse tokens to boost that.
Yeah.
He then moves. That's.
Have you noticed what power it would come in if he's fully fueled as well?
16.
Guess again.
Is it higher?
Yeah. so the first hit I had on
as well.
The first hit I had on my caster was a POW 19. And I was sat there going, "Oh, this is bad. This is bad." But it goes down by 1 each attack that it buys. It's like POW 19, block 5 damage.
Oh,
Jesus Christ! It's only 6 points, but that means free, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, it's a free solo. And it's stealthed as well. So just to add that particular insult to injury.
And advanced deploy.
I mean, it's low def and not particularly hardy. So if you hit it, it's gonna fall over and die. The thing is, its threat range is so bonkers. It doesn't need to come in.
So it could, if it's lined up correctly, it could charge 9 to get within 2 inches of something, shoot, teleport, and make attacks from there.
Yeah, and if it's in the back as well, it avoids all the shield walls and all the blah.
Don't forget it.
It's got dual attack.
It loses its charge attack, I believe, for doing that.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it would lose the charge, but dice. Yeah, definitely. But he's Weapon Master anyway, isn't he? Is he not anymore? No, he's not Weapon Master anymore, is he? No. It's magical 13 though.
If it was a POW 19 Weapon Master,
he used to be Weapon Master as well, but I don't think he didn't have quite this stack of stuff. But
how many boxes did it do to your?
8 in total.
Points, yeah. How many
3
points? Ah, okay.
I had 4 focus on Gorton because I thought I'm having to move him up to feet. I'll just upkeep solid ground. And then we're good.
So there was a hairline smell of poop for a second, and then
And once the first attack was done, and that, it did 3 damage. I was like, I'll block that. And then as the power kept going down, I just kind of went, yeah, okay, I'm fine now. I genuinely thought my opponent was going to like pile in with like some of the Wolf Riders, and no. It was an attack that never came. I was
really, it's 19.
I can't remember.
It must have been another buff or another spell on them.
Yeah, it was possibly something to do with
the 16. You can have three corpse tokens, and that takes you to armor 19, power strength 16. But you give it some other.
Oh, actually, maybe I'm flipping the 2.
But there's bound to be a strength buff somewhere, isn't there?
Yeah, maybe I'm just flipping the 2 where it was armor 19.
Caster with strength buff, put that on him, and he's going in and taking anything out. Jesus.
Well, I mean, he was playing against the caster with the one of the best strength buffs in the game, which I didn't cast at all. Because, like, I'm playing Circle. Why would I need +4 strength?
Hitting is the hard part, yeah.
Yeah. Hitting's not so much the hard part when they're at -3 def.
Yeah, it helps.
Yeah, that's real start.
I did find Shadowbind. I was getting some use out of that this time, which I previously had not maximized. So what is that to you? I'm learning slowly.
I mean, this weekend did sound like you learned a lot, or you were reminded a lot of stuff.
I think because Alice has got so much going on, because she can Harmonious Exaltation, she can grant Isle of Sight and something else with it as well, and she can power up a Jack. But the Isle of Sight also grants magical weapons, magical ranged attack. It's just like I didn't know that. I didn't know that was there. I had a feeling it was somewhere, but I did not know that was there. So yeah, it's been enlightening. And this is playing the faction, isn't it? It's just it's
I mean, the faction's been out less than a year, so if you forget stuff, there's kind of excuses there for it. So
guidance, target friendly model gains Isle of Sight, and its weapons gain gain damage type magical for 1 turn. Harmonious Exaltation, guidance, and empower. So you can undisrupt and grant a focus to any Jack. This is amazing. And if she dies, she turns into a massive great rage monster that hurts people.
Yeah. Always a good one.
Yeah.
Right, as it's getting a bit late, shall we move on to any other business?
Yes, why not?
Okay. Benj, any other business?
What did I... No, I've just been sick for a week with a fever and chest infections. I haven't really had any other business apart from going slightly stir crazy at the wall. Coughing and...
Any other business? Coughing.
Yeah, just lots of coughing, really.
Sounds delightful.
Yeah, I haven't even been able to really even... I didn't even have enough energy to put television on and cough to some form of media entertainment. I've just been literally dead up until yesterday, I think. So no other business for me.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay. Kurt, any other business?
I'm looking forward to the Hellboy Kickstarter turning up. That's shipped and is on its way and should be here within a few weeks, which should be very nice. I'm also looking forward to, though not directly, the Cthulhu Wars turning up in various locations, because I think I'm looking forward to having another go at playing that. And Byron for one should have, sound by sound of it, more stuff coming. I'm not quite sure exactly how much, but some. But also, in order to drown my sorrows after doing so well in Cardiff, I went and spent money, because retail therapy is obviously a thing. And,
definitely.
And now I don't think there is a single thing Chris Brigard I don't own. So I bought the remaining Jack, which was the Retaliator, the spray one. And I bought the Chris Brigard Infantry, which I still didn't own. But there is nothing I don't own in Chris Brigard, I don't think, now. So, yeah. That's my retail therapy. And they are already assembled and primed last night and mostly painted now. So just through today. That's how you do it.
Cool.
How about you?
For myself, So I've been on a bit of a painting spree.
We've all seen. It's astounding.
Yeah.
You're a man possessed.
I found myself weirdly with like odd bits of time in the last few weeks that I hadn't been expecting. So I thought, well,
I think there was a thing where painting begets painting. So if you've been painting, you think of it to do. If you don't do it for ages, it's not something you immediately go, oh, I'll do that. You go, oh, I'll watch this series I've been watching instead and sit on the sofa.
Well, part of it is the fact that I'd had a Gorton that had been sat there half painted, and I worked out for, I think it was about 5 or 6 years. With basically the sort of kind of long family story about why it was only half painted, but I realized as I started doing it, I'd mentally been avoiding doing it for that long.
You mentioned something about that online,
yeah. So that was fun to deal with. Because I've got on the underside of my dwarves, it's dated when I finish them. And once I finished Gorton, I was like, well, that driller's been kind of sat there in the same kind of state. Now, I kind of wanted to finish that one as well. So, okay, fair enough. Oh, I got these gun bunnies as well. And then it just kind of, well, storm blades, they look fun to paint. Let's carry on with those. And it just kind of slowly ticked over to being like 20 odd models painted in the space of a couple of weeks. I
think it's easily done because you just get into the sort of positive habit of just doing it.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing I will still say is that I hate batch painting with a passion. I can't stand painting units. Painting solos, painting individual jacks, I'm perfectly happy to do. But just painting those storm blades, at least at the start, was just torture.
Yeah.
Because it's going through 10 models and applying the same tin bits layer on all of them, then going, okay, what's the next one? Oh, it's the leather. Okay.
Have you not played a bigger game than War Machine? I know you haven't done 40k or Age of Sigmar or Warhammer, but
it's still annoying either way, Kurt. Because I can agree.
What I'm saying is I don't have a problem with 12 with the same model because my previous experience has been painting a hell of a lot more than that of Space Marines or whatever else.
So the last time I played a game that was quote bigger than War Machine, although I doubt very much with the model counts we're playing at now, it's bigger than what I was playing. But that was either Warhammer Fantasy, I want to say third, or 40k second.
I would say both of those are more models than War Machine, but
but I was playing at secondary school, so armies were very much of a different size.
Right. Okay.
I will also say that at that point, my painting style for Blood Angels was very much: here is a spray that says Blood Angels Red. Let's put the eyes on. But
that still listens with one model and the amount of spray paint on the front. I've seen children spray models.
It's horrible. It reminds me of my own spray painting.
My Blood Bowl team is a travesty. If you can find a face on any of those models,
I can't remember at what point somebody went. You go. Can't remember who said it. It was a long time ago, 20 years at least, and that helped me massively. Just to go, don't hold the button down. Just go.
Well,
just make that noise. Just make that noise.
Yeah, and it is also for those who are wanting a bit on spray technique. You start from one side of the model, and the spray goes across the model, so that when you press first and when you release, you're not aimed at the model.
Yes, although I would go short control bursts and not worry too much about that. But yeah,
and don't do it from like 2 inches away.
No.
Because then just all the detail obliterated forever. But yeah, I mean,
makes it easier to paint though with less detail, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, totally. And as well, if you want recommendations for primers, go to somewhere like Halford's, pick up their grey primer. Yep. It is. I've moved over to it from like a lot of coloured sprays, and it has the benefits of like a black spray in that everything looks covered when you're done, but it also has some of the benefits of white, and then it brings your colours up a bit.
I would recommend grey unless you've got a really good reason for something else. My Warjacks, I do spray gold because there's so much gold. And I like Warjacks benefit from having a general metal look because what's underneath it, the lower bits, difference between a Warjack and a person is that a person's wearing clothes and cloth, and actually you want sort of recesses and grey and darker colours washing over the top of that, gets rid of a lot of that. But a Warjack is metal underneath most of the time, or the bits that are hard to get to are generally metallic. So I'm a big fan of metallic sprays for Warjacks, but which take longer to dry, as we were discussing yesterday. Just leave it, don't touch it tomorrow. But mid grey, big fan.
I'm interested to know with your gold primer actually. Does it have the same effect that the Army Painter Silver primer has? In that, if your paints are a little bit too watery,
it slides off them.
Yeah, the surface tension breaks and it does really weird things.
So yes, it does. My solution to that is to take a hearty tub of Agrax Earthshade. Bless you. And I Agrax it first. After the gold. When the gold's dry, so the next day, wash it in Agrax, which won't be a perfect wash, but will remove that problem.
Other dark inks are available.
Other dark inks are available, but they're not as good.
Oh, well, that actually create a sticky enough layer to hold. Okay, because I had the same problem that Mike had, but I've also had a similar problem with grey spray paint as well.
Oh, okay.
I've been more of a fan of black.
Okay.
Yes, but
I think you can tell when a spray paint is probably going to do it because there's a certain shine to the model.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm down to, I've run out and I should go and get more, but there is a nice mat in a certain large gardening and homewares kind of shop that they do a variety. There's lots of shops that sell that kind of stuff, and it's there's a matte metallic that's still a little bit shiny, but much better. Although right now I'm now got the shiny one because I bought it by mistake.
Go.
And then left it and bought the right one, and then of course I've run out the other one, and I'm going, I want to spray it now. So I of course then go and get that one and just live with it.
And to be fair, having access to these things in garden centres and Halfords is quite useful now, seeing because you can't ship spray primers anymore.
I've forgotten that.
Which is really annoying. Anyone who's gone to buy a spray primer in the UK from like Firestorm in the last few years has found out, if you want it, you've got to courier it because Royal Mail will no longer send
explosive canisters.
Yes. Although they will still allow you to post bees.
I didn't know that.
Do you post a lot of bees? Is that how you found this out?
No, I found it because there's an article in the Guardian. Yes, middle class Guardian.
His accent's deceptive, I tell you.
There's an article in the Guardian about a postal worker who a parcel of bees had come undone inside their van.
A parcel of bees.
Yes.
Sounds like it should be a euphemism, but I can't think what for.
It's a bit like how you can, how Amazon can send you large shipments of like ladybirds as well.
There's alcohol now.
Yes, they do also do alcohol. That's where a lot of my whiskey collections come from.
Right.
So I feel this has wandered into a very strange place now.
Any other business is supposed to be that, though.
So I'm gonna do one more piece of any other business because I've watched a couple of films today as well, and I'm just going to recommend that anyone who even vaguely likes musicals, pick up La La Land if you've not seen it because
I saw it in cinema. It's very good.
I've watched it twice. I know Nick absolutely hates it with a burning passion. It balances out this sort of wonderful cynical indie filmmaking thing about sort of a mixture of the Hollywood system and relationships with this like joyous old school musical.
I like the way I quite like the way because I've watched Singing in the Rain with my youngest recently because she was singing the song from somewhere and I told her it came from a film and she wanted to sit and watch the film and I noticed it watching it with her that there are some songs in it that they've just made something up in order to be able to put a certain song, and they're even parodying themselves and Singing in the Rain. They're sort of talking about the film they want to make, so they do a set piece that they want to put in the film they want to make, and you're like, that's just an excuse to have that song in the film. but I think La La Land sort of parody plays up on that as well.
Oh, it very definitely does. So there are things that happen later in the film that if you've kept your eyes open, you've seen the sets for them in the Warner Brothers backlot near the start of the film.
Cool.
And the like that recurring image of the lamppost it's all through the film, but it's also you can see like an entire storage thing of them on the Warner Brothers backlot.
Oh, cool.
It's an absolutely beautifully done film. If you've for anyone who's seen Whiplash, it's by the same director. I mean, I would say temper your expectations with some of the songs. It is still was it Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling, but they are they're doing like good renditions of fun songs. And if you can get Another Day of Sun out of your head afterwards, you're a better man than I, frankly. So
I enjoyed it. It has been a while since I watched it.
There we go. That's my any other business done. So I think now all that remains is for Kurt to sign us off.
You've been listening to Elite Cadre, the Hordes and War Machine and Half the Time Movies podcast that doesn't take itself too seriously. I've been Kurt.
I've been Mike.
I've been Benj.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Nick.
Bye, Nick.
There we go. That sounds something like a podcast.
Definitely.
It wasn't too bad.
How many live listens have we had? Just the one?
It doesn't record it anymore.
Oh.
Oddly.
Well,
so Byron was definitely watching, but it never came up with a view account.
And I have now finished washing my infantry and jack that I bought yesterday.
So Byron's just said, yes, I will have lots of CW arriving.
Yes, Cthulhu Wars.
Okay. Oh yes, okay.
Which I played at BonusCon.
Yes, no, I saw that with the millions of multicolored models.
So there's that's the third Kickstarter for that game in various guys in different extra armies, and there's talk of there possibly being one more, which I may try and jump on when it happens.
There's so many like Kickstarters for like games with really cool sets of models, and I'm sat there going, I am not dropping £200 on another board game.
So the basic set is nearly £200. Cthulhu Wars is like ridiculously expensive to buy all of it. I don't have a desire to buy all of it. I would like to buy the Kickstarter kind of luxury version of the basic set, as in with all the extra kind of resin gates and stuff and things, or metal, other like sculpted gates rather than just cards, and some extra factions and bits. But I don't really feel like I need all of it. Yeah, I mean, you could spend it's a lot of money to get the complete. On the last Kickstarter, the I think it was £700 for on this Onslaught 3 to get the catch-up box, and I don't think that was everything in there.
I mean, I was so tempted to drop money on where are we? It's called The Edge Dawnfall. If you can see the chat, that is the board game. And I was looking and people going, oh yeah, it's quite good, and it comes with a lot of really nice minis, and I'm sat there going, yeah, it looks really nice, but at the same point, am I ever gonna get around to it? It's like the starter box is 9 kilograms and is 175 quid. Again, board game, over 560 cards, 318 linen finished tokens, 113 highly detailed miniatures with hard plastic bases.
So my most frequent gaming group is the children and their cousins. So from a board game point of view. So I generally look at things from the point of view of, can I play this with my family?
Yeah.
And Hellboy, definitely yes. Hellboy board game looks like it's got a lot of repeat play. It's cooperative. It's going to be fun like Zombicide is. And same with Zombicide Invasion with the aliens. I think that's going to be a completely different kind of twist on it, and it'll be fun. I know that I've read the criticisms around those games and heard them from other people, but I think when you've got a group of adults, you get a lot more vying for position and people just doing what they're told or not really contributing, whereas I think with children it's just fun because they all have their own ideas, but they will kind of go in the right direction. But yeah, I know what you mean. And Cthulhu Wars has crossed my mind. I showed my children Cthulhu Wars, and I think they're a little bit young yet, but then when it'll be like 18 months after the Kickstarter launches that I can actually get it. So That might come right then. We'll see.
Yeah, I for board games and stuff at this point, I'm only just getting around to playing some of the stuff I bought at UK Games Expo last year.
Yeah.
It's only in the last couple of months we've got around to playing Terraforming Mars.
Having read some Lovecraft, quite a lot of Lovecraft in the last 6 months, playing that game gave me flashbacks to stories. It's so well tailored and brings so much of it in. Watching Creeping Chaos come across the board, I was like, oh my God, okay, I know who that is. I know where they are. I know who the sleeper is. I know who these people are. And the sleeper, the really cool thing, do you have any idea how much Cthulhu and how much, the more I'm listening to Laundry Files, the more Lovecraft is in it.
Which game are you talking about that's Lovecraft based?
Cthulhu Wars.
Oh, never heard of that.
It's huge. If you go to the Welsh, I did say to Byron, will he bring it? He said he was going to try for the Friday night.
Okay.
Because I'd like to play that again. As much as I like Chocho, I think I'd avoid playing Chocho, having read about how hard they are. It's the amount of time. I mean, the guy who created it is so immersed in love. He created Call of Cthulhu, the role-playing game. Same guy.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
So he's so immersed in it. It's got so much depth. It's really cool. So yeah, yay. But yeah, so many Kickstarters, just tons. I joined one of the little card game recently that was that are quite cool. That'd be fun with the children about trying to get out of the woods. Anyway, there's loads on there.
Oh, speaking of Kickstarter, was it Ninja Division? Finally, actually did send out an update saying,
I saw.
Yeah, we got no money. Sorry,
we're done.
They didn't find anybody in the end to bail them out.
They basically said there's a continuing effort to try and keep the company going.
I was very glad I didn't join Legends. I know you did, but
it's not the only Kickstarter they're missing as well. There's another one.
The second Relic Knights.
Yeah, that's still.
I was so glad I didn't join that. Well, I wasn't going to because that's the first one's fiasco.
Yeah,
the first one was awful.
The first one's still sitting in my garage.
So the boxes that are up there just off camera.
I played it. I got some good games out of it. I've still got all my stuff, and I bought a few bits on eBay cheap as well because people were like rage quitting it immediately.
The problem is, I mean, I've said this many times. The problem for me with it was that we backed it when there was like a whole group of us who were going to play it in the Midlands, and then by the time it arrived, well, 2 of us had moved away.
Yeah.
And another 2 people were like, "Oh, I'm not sure I'm in this mini gaming lark anymore." I was like, was it a year and a half late?
A year and a half, 2 years late, I think.
No, yeah, it was 2 to 3 years late.
I ended up. This is a really good one. I ended up being driven to Scotland to pick mine up from Nick because it was being shipped to him. Then I got driven back to Basingstoke with it, at which point I had to drive up to Manchester at a later date to meet up with Alex to hand over his.
Oh, God. Yeah, mine was, my Rank Nights came to Chris Cawthorne. Yeah.
So, yeah, that thing was a disaster in many senses, but there you go.
It really was. It was,
Yeah, I'm glad. It's a shame, but
I like the fact I still don't play Ninja All Stars very often, but I still like it. I love the models. We do play Rail Raiders Infinite. I quite like. That's still a fun game.
Mm-hmm.
Robbing trains and stuff with sci-fi cowboy TV things.
Running around, robbing banks.
Absolutely, indeed.
See, at this point, if I could pull a board game out, I probably wouldn't pull out with one with miniatures. I would go with Terraforming Mars again because that's just a phenomenal board game. Where I spent 3 hours building up a rainforest belt around the equator of Mars and going, I'm going to build some cities, and yeah, it was great.
Is that not excessively long, like a 7-hour game?
No. It's Okay, in over the space of 3 hours, which is normally we do an RPG session on a Thursday, but enough people dropped out that we kind of didn't have the numbers. And over the space of 3 hours, not only did we learn to play, but also started and finished a game.
That's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Because once you get down the base mechanics, it looks like when you open the box, you've got 17 different kinds of cube, and like you're thinking, oh, these must all do different things. Like, no, you have your color for your player, which is 5 of the types, and then gold, silver, and bronze, which are, depending on where they are on your sheet in front of you, are different values of resources. And basically, all the information you need is kind of right in front of you on your sheet. So there's money here, and then there's like vegetation that you can plant over here, and then there's heat that you can use to raise the temperature of Mars. Another one.
Wow.
It's all really simple. It tells you at the end of the turn you produce resources, and you've got it all on tracks in front of you. So you know I get 3 cubes there, 3 cubes there, 3 cubes there.
Oh, cool.
And it just ticks over.
That reminds me of looking at a different game, but that reminds me of the way blocks slot into, which is who goes there, the thing. The more kind of the bigger kind of thing type game based on the original book.
Okay.
Yeah, Antarctica and weird alien things and stuff. That has cubes that slot into cards, and even pull out bits of your play mat that then allows you to slot more cubes.
Oh, they don't actually slot into them. It's just like resources sitting on top of it, but there are specific places they go.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a nice little Euro game that.
Yeah, I haven't watched the full video of it, but I've seen a few come up on YouTube talking about that.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's still this duality with Kickstarter, isn't there? I mean, the Hellboy game, there's a few on YouTube now, or even with James Hewlett in it as well, talking about it, and they'll show you the retail box and they show you the Kickstarter box, and there's like twice the volume. It's a really lovely big box, and you look at it and go, that's worth the money, and the little box, and you go, I'd be disappointed if I bought that.
I was so tempted to drop, what was it, 400 quid on the Assassin's Creed one.
Oh, really? I did look at that, and I was like,
You underestimate how much I love Assassin's Creed 2, which is what that was set around, because I've played through that game like 4 or 5 times, and the whole thing of having that sort of that band of assassins and Ezio, and
okay.
It looked absolutely gorgeous. It came along at, depending on your view, either just the right or just the wrong time, because I did not have the money.
Yeah.
I
think that's. I know what you mean about the fluff. I mean, I quite like the next Zombicide has got like tons of characters from Blade Runner. It's got Rick and Morty in it. It's got there's extras characters you can play. Are just off the scale, silly sci-fi, because it's all aliens and things again, and you get that's quite a nice feel. But I haven't seen a game that is from a computer game that I could think of that I'd really want. I mean, the StarCraft game. If they did another StarCraft game now, that might be more tempting with the nostalgia element.
They did basically reprint that.
Oh,
do you know what it was?
No.
Forbidden Stars.
Oh, no, I did hear that.
Yeah. So StarCraft, they lost the license and basically reprinted it with the 40k license, which they then lost. So, yeah. It was an interesting game. We tried to play that on like a wargaming evening, and we just didn't have the time. So, right. Anyway, I need to go. So
yeah, me too. I'm gonna bath and get ready for bed.
Yeah. Yeah. It's people listening live. It's been lovely speaking to you, and we'll see you again when Benj decides to schedule us again. And if Kurt bothers to turn up.
Yeah, that's more the pressing issue.
Yeah. So, goodbye to you fine people out there.